Welcome! In this video, the event, Stories of Afternoon, will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Arknights. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. Vanilla wraps up her grueling training session at the Rhodes Island landship, catching her breath and assuring the concerned doctor that she's within her limits. Despite the intense workout, she's motivated by the example set by other operators and the guidance from Doberman and Liskarm. After taking a sip from a sports drink, she grimaces at the taste but acknowledges the necessity, noting Doberman and Franka's insistence on post-exercise hydration. Vanilla then mentions her upcoming mission with the Black Steel Girls and expresses gratitude for the doctor's support during her training period. As the conversation shifts, Vanilla reveals her concern for her pets, including Originum snails and a Sargon desert metal crab, which she typically leaves in the care of other Black Steel Girls like Franka or Jessica. She hesitates about who will care for them while she's on the mission, pondering the reliability of her potential helpers. Vanilla's contemplation is interrupted by the arrival of Melantha, who agrees to help with her pets, making Vanilla visibly relieved. They discuss their respective missions and Melantha's sword training with Franka, highlighting Franka's mentorship and Vanilla's admiration for the team's camaraderie and skills. The scene transitions to a lighter note as Blaze and Stuart join the conversation. Blaze humorously suggests that Rhodes Island's efforts to involve everyone, even children like Dora, in meaningful work could be seen as an investment in their future capabilities. Vanilla reflects on the positive environment at Rhodes Island, contrasting it with the harsh realities of her home in Sargon, where survival hinges on hunting and barter. As they chat in Vanilla's quarters, she shows off her unique pets, explaining their care and the significant role they play in her life, underscoring the stark differences between her current life and her roots in the Sargon Desert. Silence thanks Talopsis for completing a site inspection, noting she'll handle the next one herself since her experiment is nearly done. Talopsis nonchalantly offers to continue helping with inspections, prompting Silence to ask if anything happened. Talopsis, keeping things brief, simply states she will be heading to her room. There, she searches through her diaries from different periods, reflecting on events at Rhodes Island and with various operators like Hung, Ak, and Warfarin. Ak's arrival stirred things up due to his brash demeanor, though his exceptional skills were undeniable despite the friction with other medical staff. Delving further into her diary, Talopsis recalls conversations and interactions that reveal the dynamic and sometimes challenging atmosphere in the medical section. Ak's unconventional methods and confrontational attitude spark both admiration and annoyance among the team. Talopsis remembers a specific incident where Ak's competition with Warfarin resulted in a stalemate, illustrating his tenacity and the complex relationships within the team. Through these reflections, Talopsis becomes aware of her detachment and how she's grown accustomed to observing rather than participating in the personal lives and emotions of her colleagues. Talopsis' diary entries also highlight her introspections and realizations from a recent trip to a Casimir's village. She discovers gaps in her knowledge about everyday life and the personal interests of her colleagues, prompting her to reflect on her own isolation and the need to bridge this emotional distance. Encounters with colleagues like Anzul reveal her struggle with the concept of a normal life, and her attempts to reconnect with forgotten aspects of her past and her identity. Talopsis resolves to deepen her understanding of those around her and to cherish her relationships more actively, rather than simply not forgetting important things. The Rhodes Island landship is bustling with activity in its cafeteria, where Matterhorn has just finished preparing a North Kier-style stir-fried greens dish. Gummy expresses delight at the meal, noting the rarity of such greens in Kier due to its harsh snowy environment where supplies are often scarce. Their conversation touches on Rhodes Island's extensive procurement network, which allows for a variety of ingredients to be available on the landship. This prompts Gummy to mention the cafeteria's wish list, where personnel can request special items, a process managed by the friendly procurement agents. Gummy recalls a memorable shopping trip with a closure highlighting the community's camaraderie. Amid the lighthearted chatter, an unexpected presence disrupts the scene. Ethan, using his chameleon-like camouflage, has been pilfering food from the kitchen. Matterhorn, having sensed the theft, confronts him sternly but focuses on the importance of hygiene and respect for food rather than on punishment. Ethan, nonchalant about his actions, is more interested in sampling Matterhorn's cooking and is particularly intrigued by a dish of braised beast meat prepared for Silver Ash's sister, Anissa. This prompts a flashback where Silver Ash's visit to Rhodes Island and his concerns for Anissa's well-being are recounted, underscoring the deep familial ties and the special care taken in prepping her meals. The exchange concludes with Ethan attempting to make amends by preparing a sandwich for Matterhorn, albeit in his own quirky, unpolished style. Vulcan, who joins Matterhorn to collect some items for repair, comments on Ethan's earnest if not mischievous gesture. Despite his gruff exterior, Matterhorn seems to appreciate Ethan's effort, even if he finds his behavior unruly. In Medical Examination Room 6 on the Rhodes Island landship, Hibiscus struggled to examine an uncooperative patient, referred to as Miss Pero. Despite offering honey biscuits to coax cooperation, the patient, who showed no interest to Hibiscus's treat, was finally calmed by Lava. Lava's efforts, which included offering her own food and earning the patient's trust, highlighted her caring nature. During the examination, Hibiscus and Lava discussed the severity of the patient's infection and her violent past, noting that despite her dangerous actions, she was likely driven by hunger and desperation. Hibiscus's efforts were met with some resistance, yet she remained gentle and persistent in ensuring the patient's well-being. The patient, eventually revealed as Seabe, has been found by Hibiscus and Lava under dire circumstances. Seabe has traveled extensively and had been involved in numerous altercations, largely driven by her quest to survive. After the examination, Hibiscus and Lava need to attend a training session, and in their haste, they entrust Seabe to Vulcan, Rhodes Island's blacksmith. Vulcan, intrigued by Seabe's weapon, which bore her name in Minoan script, engaged with her, discovering her desire to find Minos and learn her identity. Vulcan deciphered the name on the weapon as Seabe, giving the young girl her name and a sense of identity, along with the nickname K. Later, Seabe's fate was deliberated by the Rhodes Island Logistics Department. Despite her lack of formal training and knowledge, her perseverance and potential were acknowledged, leading to her acceptance as an operator. Vulcan, recognizing Seabe's unique spirit and connection to her weapon, vouched for her, emphasizing the meaningful craftsmanship of her axe. Late one evening in the Rhodes Island landship, Orchid completes her duties with a sense of accomplishment. The logistics operator praises her, suggesting she transfer to the department given her knack for clerical work, which stands in contrast to her decision to become a combat operator. Reflecting on her initial reluctance to settle for a mundane office job, Orchid recalls her choice to seek excitement on the front lines. Despite the logisticals team's welcoming demeanor, she remains steadfast in her path, albeit uncertain about her future. As Orchid ponders her choices, she encounters Papukar, who shares her story of being brought to Rhodes Island under rather unusual circumstances. Papukar's innocent curiosity and harsh past evoke a protective response in Orchid, highlighting the stark differences between their backgrounds. Their conversation reveals the nuances of life at Rhodes Island, a place where even the youngest must adapt to the roles that might be too demanding for their age. Later, in a more relaxed setting, Orchid and her companions engage in a deep discussion about the nature of their work and the realities of their world. Midnight shares a poignant story from his past, revealing the darker side of human nature and personal information it catalyzed. This conversation leads Orchid to introspect about her own journey, her reasons for rejecting a conventional life, and the significance of her role at Rhodes Island. The training session at Rhodes Island began with Fang sparring with instructor Grace, who praised her progress, noting her improved flexibility and speed, crucial for a Kuratana warrior. Fang attributed her improvement to lessons from instructor Doberman on balancing footwork and speed. Grace emphasized the importance of not just quick attacks, but also having counters ready for when the enemy blocks, ensuring Fang passed her field exercise. Their conversation shifted to the next challenge, with Fang's confidence clear. Beagle, however, didn't fare as well in her test with instructor Fallon and was visibly disheartened. Cruz also had a tough time, humorously recounting her sniper duel with instructor Tess, who managed to sneak up to her, much to Grace's amusement. Instructor Grace reminded the trainees that their individual test results were not meant to discourage them, but to identify areas for improvement, highlighting the skill gap between them and their instructors. She reassures the trainees that despite their occasional failures, they had made significant progress since joining Rhodes Island. Grace reflected on the rigorous training they received under Doberman, who, despite their tough exterior, deeply cared about their students. The conversation evolved into a nostalgic account of Grace's early days, showcasing Doberman's strict yet effective training methods, which shaped them into the skilled instructors they are today. The trainees, especially Beagle and Cruz, began to appreciate the value of training and the instructor's genuine concern for their development. Later, Fang and Beagle visited Doberman to deliver their test results and volunteered to help clean her room, where they discovered various memorabilia from her time in the Bolivarian army. Doberman shared insights about the military and the hardships of following orders, stressing the importance of obedience and the harsh realities of war. She reflected on her journey from serving in the autonomous government to joining the resistance and eventually finding a new purpose at Rhodes Island. Doberman's lessons on trust, obedience, and the significance of Rhodes Island left a lasting impression on the trainees. As they prepared for the group training session, Doberman remained contemplative about her past and hopeful for the future, holding on to the belief in the idealistic version of Rhodes Island while acknowledging her roots in Bolivar. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Girls Frontline and Azure Lane videos as well. There will be a teaser out tomorrow for next week's character summaries.